All right, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time it might be. We are doing lesson 1.6, which is on subtracting integers. Okay, so today by the end of the lesson, you should be able to subtract integers by using the additive inverse. So what we learned the other day is that if you have -3, the opposite of that would be 3, and they're called additive inverses. Okay, so like the rule from the other day, for adding integers, and they have the same sign, -2 plus -5, you add the 2 plus the 5, and you get 7, and you keep the sign, so it's -7. Let's say it was -8 plus 1. Those are two integers with different signs, so what we do is we drop off the signs, 8 minus 1, which is 7, and take the sign of the one with the 8, which is negative. Well, now we're going to be talking about subtraction. What happens when we have integers that were being subtracted? For example, -1 minus 4. We never, ever do subtraction. We're going to change this to adding the additive inverse. So we call this keep, change, opposite. And some of you aren't going to believe me, and you're going to get the wrong answers. So what that means is you keep the first integer, you change the subtraction to addition, and make this the opposite. Well, what's the opposite of 4? It's -4. Now we're back to the rules from the other day. We know they're the same sign. We add them together. 4 plus 1 is 5, and keep the sign. Okay, so I want you always to do the additive inverse and subtraction only. So the directions here say find the difference. It says 5 minus 9. This is a subtraction problem, so we're going to keep, change, opposite. 5 plus, what's the opposite of 9? It's -9. So from the other day, we know it's subtraction. 9 minus 5 is 4. And we're going to keep the sign of the 9, which is negative. Number 2 is -2 minus 8. Okay, it's a subtraction problem. Again, I'm going to keep, change, opposite. -2 plus the opposite of 8 is -8. And from the rules, we know it's -10. Okay, number 3, it's again subtraction. So we're going to keep, change, opposite. That becomes 6, plus the opposite of -3 is 3. These are both the same sign. Add them and you get the answer of 9. Okay? So now it says to evaluate when x equals -9. What we're going to do is plug in for x. I want you guys writing down -8 minus -22. And they have parentheses around that -22 just to hold the negative sign. Okay, so I want you to do 4, and I want to do 5 with you. You would write down 9 minus, it is -8, so we have to put -8 in there. So go ahead and do 5 as well. Look at number 6. It says evaluate when y equals -12. Please remember that this means the opposite of y. So that means the opposite of y. So when you go to put that in there, since y is -12, the opposite of -12 is 12. So we're going to do 12 minus 6. This one's a little different. You could do keep, change, opposite, but see how it's the bigger number minus the smaller number? It doesn't really matter if we do keep, change, opposite. One of each, you subtract, and you get the answer 6. Okay, I want you guys to do 7 and 8. And then we're going to talk about when it says the change in temperature and the change in or elevation, anything like that. Okay, what you're going to do is always take the end temperature or the end height, wherever you ended up, and you're going to subtract where you started from. Okay, so that's why we say it's the end minus the start where it began. So if I am going from -3 degrees Fahrenheit to 8 degrees Fahrenheit, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with where I ended up. Where did the day end? And then I'm going to subtract where it started from. It ended at 8, and it started at -3. So I'm going to do 8 minus -3. Well, this is subtraction. I'm going to keep, change, opposite. So I keep the 8, change that to addition, make that the opposite, which is 11 degrees Fahrenheit. So that went up. Look at the next one. It went from -15 degrees Celsius to -2 degrees Celsius. Well, this is where it ended up, right? So we're going to do -2 minus, well, it started at -15. It's a subtraction. Keep, change, opposite. So it's -2 plus +15, and we get 13 degrees Celsius. Okay, and then the last one that we're going to work on is a multiple problem of adding and subtracting. Okay, I will tell you now, you guys are, some of you won't listen to what I'm teaching you, and you're going to think you know how to do this, and you're going to get all messed up. If you look at this problem, notice that there's several different operations. There's subtraction, there's addition, and there's subtraction. We cannot subtract in any order we want to. That is the property, that commutative property does not work with subtraction. So what I want you guys to do before you even do these problems is keep change opposite on any subtraction problem. So there's one here. So that makes that -11 plus opposite of 7 is -7. I don't touch that one because it's addition. Drop down the 4. Keep it, change, opposite. So that becomes plus +12. Now I could add in any order I wanted to. Here I'm going to add those together first. That's -18. Plus I'm also going to add those together because they're both positives, and I get 16. Oh, we're back at the rule. -18 plus 16, I really subtract. I get 2 and make it -2. Okay? All right, so I want to ask you guys, do you guys know who one of my favorite groups are in music? Do you know who one of my favorite groups? I'll tell you, Maroon 5. Maroon 5 is one of my favorites. So bring that back with you tomorrow.